when we arrive, and the staff have already made themselves scarce. The French doors are flung wide, so the hazy morning sunshine flutters in across the veranda, curtains billowing inward when the wind catches them. The gold inlay along the scrollwork glows, dewy and warm in the light. Mother looks like she's already been up for hours, in a blue Jesuit with her lovely dark hair swept back in a neat chignon. I ruffle my fingers through mine, trying to work it into that deliberately rumpled look I usually favour, handsome in the "it looked like this when I woke" sort of way. Across the table from her, Percy's aunt and uncle are straight-faced and unspeaking. There's food enough for a militia spread before the three of them, but Mother's poking at a single boiled egg in a Delftware cup. She's been making a valiant effort to reclaim her figure since the goblin wreaked havoc upon it, and neither of Percy's guardians is having more than coffee. Percy and I are unlikely to make any noticeable impact either. My stomach's still precarious, and Percy's finicky about food. He stopped eating meat a year ago, like some sort of extended Lent, claiming it's for his health, but he's still sick in bed far more often than I am. It's hard to be sympathetic when I've told him ever since he adopted it that unless he gives me a better explanation, I think his diet is absurd. Percy's aunt reaches out when we enter, and he takes her hand. They have the same soft features, thin-nosed and fine-boned, as Percy's father has in portraits, though Percy's got thick black hair that grows in coarse curls and defies wigs, queues, and anything fashionable. Percy's lived with his aunt and uncle all his life, ever since his father returned from the family estate in Barbados with a jungle fever, his French violin, and an infant son with skin the colour of sandalwood, then expired. Lucky for Percy, his aunt and uncle took him in. Lucky for me as well, or else we might never have met. And then what would have been the point of my life? My mother looks up as we enter and smooths the wrinkles around the corners of her eyes like they're creases in a tablecloth. And the gentlemen arise. "Good morning, Mother." Percy gives her a little bow before he sits, like he's a proper guest. It's a ridiculous pretense from a lad I know better than either of my actual siblings, and also like a fair amount more. The actual sibling present doesn't acknowledge our arrival. She has one of her amatory novels propped against a crystal jam pot, a serving fork wedged between the pages to hold it open. "That'll melt your brain, Felicity," I say as I drop into the seat beside her. "Not as fast as gin will," she replies without looking up. My father, thank God, is absent. "Felicity," my mother hisses down to her, "perhaps you should remove your spectacles at the table." "I need them for reading," Felicity says, eyes still fixed upon her smut. "You shouldn't be reading at all. We have guests." Felicity licks her finger and turns the page. Mother glowers down at the cutlery. I help myself to a piece of toast from a silver rack and settle in to watch them volley. It's always pleasant when it's Felicity being needled instead of me. Mother glances across the table at Percy. His aunt is plucking at the rather distinct cigar burn on the braided cuff of his coat, then says to me in a confidential tone, "One of my maids found a pair of your breeches in the harpsichord this morning. I believe they were the same ones you left the house in last night." "That's odd," I say. I thought I'd lost them long before we got home. I have a sudden memory of stripping off my clothes as Percy and I staggered through the parlour in the wee dawn hours, scattering them behind me like fallen trees. "Didn't happen to find a shoe as well, did she?" "Did you want them packed?" "I'm sure I've plenty." "I wish you had at least looked through what was sent." "What for? I can send for anything I've left behind, and we'll be getting new duds in Paris." "It makes me anxious to think of sending your fine things to some unknown French flat with a strange staff." "Father arranged the flat and the staff. Take it up with him if you're skittish." "I'm skittish about you two boys on your own on the continent for a year." "Well, you should have raised that concern a bit earlier than the day we leave." My mother purses her lips and goes back to poking at her egg. Like a summoned demon, my father appears suddenly in the doorway to the dining room. My pulse rocks, and I tuck into my toast, like food might disguise me as his gaze roams the table.